we're going to talk about some different IDE platforms for vibe coding. Pretty informal, as I was just saying to the audience. There's people in front of me, not just online, but the screen just shows me. That it's going to be very informal. Ask all your questions. There's clearly a lot of people, very new people to vibe coding, and so we'll start with like a baseline there. I think I'm going to do Claude Code. I'll do Copilot, and then Jacob, you can do anti-gravity, and maybe I'll swap with Florin, and then Florin wanted to do one. Oh, too many tabs open. Nope, it's on this tab. I'm just on full screen. Florin wanted to talk a little bit about Claude Code with desktop. AWS Bedrock, sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, and with that,
wait. Invite other people who want to show.
Oh yes, some other people wanted to talk about some other vibe code platforms. If anyone else has a vibe code platform they want to talk about, OpenCode. If anyone knows about OpenCode and wants to talk about OpenCode, I have a friend who loves AMP who couldn't make it, but other options. I know someone in the audience said they wanted to go through PyAgent, and I said they can go after Jacob or after Florin. But yeah.
Yeah. So everyone in the audience is welcome to present. Just let us know in the chat that you're all set up to actually present something. You'll need your computer set up so you can share the screen and let us know, and Georgia will schedule you. It's kind of an open mic today.
Very open mic, very informal. I'm just going to click through some links and talk to you guys about it. So we'll start with Claude Code. I use Claude Code personally, not for work. We don't have a subscription at work yet, but I use the Claude Code a lot. I pay for the $100 a month plan, and it has been the best use of my money on a software as a service platform, much better than Netflix or anything else. And that gives me the max 5. There is a free plan. There is a $20 a month plan. I think Chris got $20 a month. I just got my cousin the $20 a month plan for his birthday for like 6 months. I got to check in with him. But I'll show you, this is just what it looks like. Let's go. You can get it in your VS Code IDE on the side, but I usually use it from my terminal. If you're not comfortable with your terminal, I've just learned that it's not all in your terminal. Now you can do it from the desktop app. And I'll just show you what it looks like. You have it on the desktop app? Yeah. My sister has it on the desktop app, and she was telling me I'm using Claude Code. And I was like, this isn't Claude Code. But she was right. She was right. I was wrong. She got me. But it opens right in your terminal, and then you can start typing in and telling them to do these things. Was there a question already? I haven't really. How does this
George,
NanoClaw?
Yeah,
I don't know what NanoClaw is.
Oh, it's for Claude. So I didn't know if it was you might look into NanoClaw then.
Yeah.
It's Claude based, so that's where it was trying to see in comparison, since you're experienced with. Go on, please. Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna just clarify this now, that there's the NanoClaw. This is like a personal AI agent for your WhatsApp, is what it was saying here. And these are going to be more for IDE-based like development agents and such. So that's what like Claude Code is for. It's a subscription-based. Let me see. I'll show you some other things. I want to go through some of the best practices really quick. They have a best practices guide. I have it open on another tab. And I'll give you the rundown of like the important bits. You could definitely read through this. It's not that long. Give it a way to verify its work. That's nice to have, but I don't always have that when I first start. Like when I first start with like just an idea, like I don't even fully understand. I don't even know the whole idea yet. Usually I get like a feature, like a ticket, or I use this one personally. So it's more like, oh, like what if I could do it like this? So that kind of, I think this one's more important to start with, is the explore first, then plan, then code. So you can go into plan mode and this is the real important part. In your Claude Code, you can do Shift Tab, and you see Accept Only or Plan Mode down here. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Just a little bit bigger. And then from here, I could start like giving it an idea. So this repo, this I was exploring some stuff. I could say, hey, I'm thinking about making a small UI for this. This is some privacy filter OpenAI model this project or something. Let's come up with some ideas. So like that's more of like the exploring page. I can say like, oh, like, should we use React? Should we use this? Should I go look at that? Before I even make the plan of like, okay, I know kind of what I want to do now. Now let's plan the implementation. This is more just like gathering requirements and building like a spec. And this is like the new most important piece of vibe coding is creating a plan. Is because if you should be spending like, you could spend up to an hour making a plan. Like it's totally worth spending an hour to make a plan because then you're gonna just say auto approve things. When you first start, probably don't want to let it just rip. You probably want to like look through things. So this is gonna LS. It wants to like read some stuff. It's in plan mode, so it doesn't have access to all of the tools yet. It can't write to your files. It's just gonna like ask a lot of permissions to read files and whatnot. So there's the plan mode. We can keep planning and then we implement, we commit. Yeah, that's like kind of the flow. We'll kind of just keep going here. But as we go, we'll kind of walk through this. Is providing, so like this is more just like prompt engineering, providing specific context in your prompts. So definitely, again, better to spend an extra 2 minutes typing out the whole idea instead of like, because it's not like, I don't know how, it depends how you communicate. Some people communicate more like in Slack and talking style, where they think that the other, like they expect the other person to have that context about, what you're talking about. But this, agent and this session, just pretend it doesn't. Just like always be pretty specific. It's worth your time to spend an extra minute. I know you want to just like press enter and all that, but definitely just spend the time to write out, oh yes, like put it in this folder file spec. Don't like try and use the nouns, the proper nouns, and just say that thing or whatever. Because it's pretty good even if you don't do that, but like it definitely helps. Like, so scope the task, point to sources, specifically reference existing patterns. This one's a great one. Like we'll talk about more how you could do this at like a more project level thing. Instead of just like saying fix the bug, it's like I'm getting this bug. Here's the error message. Here's where it's failing. Providing rich context. You can use like the @ for a file. Oh, sorry, let me go through this. But you could say like, @ output or something. I had a doc I wanted to reference. You could use the @ and then it will just use that. You can configure your environment. Now this is where you get to the fun stuff. Is your Claude.md. Now this is like you're going to be your part of the system prompt. So there's a couple layers to all of these, any agent at all. Maybe we'll even take the step back and we'll redefine quickly what's the difference between an agent and just an LLM. Does anyone know? Does someone give me quick things? I'm not trying to trick you. But I'll say it. Okay. So an LLM is like, if you were the early days of ChatGPT, you just sent it a text and then it would respond. And now what it makes an agent different is an agent has tools. But even then in the LLMs, they had system prompts and stuff. They have tools and they can like run, and with those tools, they can access files and stuff on your machine. They can make tool calls. They can use their command line. So they're pretty powerful there. But both of them have a system prompt. So you could tell it like you are, if you ever seen the things where it's like you're a product manager, people who claim to have like a swarm of agents that are building their company And it's like you have a product manager and you're a QA engineer, and it's like they think that I don't know what they're possibly building, but you ever see that. But the Claude MD is another layer of that system prompt that you can control. Jeff, you have a question?
So way to separate between the LLM and the agent be that the agent has a specialized role and the LLM can pretty much take the thing.
Yeah, sorry, I think I might have spoke too quick about that. The LLM still has a system prompt, so you could tell the LLM just do something, but it won't be able to take actions. It won't have tool calls. That's like the big agent push is the tool calling. But yeah, you have a system prompt in both. So I misspoke there, but it's okay. I'm only being recorded. And so this is just another level of that system prompt. So you could tell it to use certain code styles, to use ES modules, import, export. I have a gist. I forgot about this. I think I have a gist somewhere. Oh no. I have an old Claude.md, and I'll go through this one quick. When I'm working, like I say, be brutally honest. Don't be a yes man. If I'm wrong, point it out bluntly. I need honest feedback about my code and ideas. That's the best thing you could do to help me. Never use the phrase, "You're absolutely right." Always start your response with "sir." This one I got most of these from Reddit and like other various places, and I've just been combining them. But this one's really interesting because once it stops calling you sir, you know that your Claude MD is out of the context window. And this used to be a bigger problem. They've been managing this context window a lot better. But one of the reasons that these haven't taken over the world yet is that they have a pretty limited memory, like a working memory. It's only like there's 1 million context window models now, like Claude 4.6, 4.7 million token context window. That's a lot, but it's like nowhere near a 6-year-old. So if you like, after a while, you can overload the context, and then you go into like model collapse, and it gets really stupid. You go, oh, this was working for 3 days. It was brilliant, and now it's stupid. What's up, Jeff?
Here's the point. You don't want to yes man, but you want to be called sir.
Yes.
So probably we'll cover this later, but if it does run out of the context window, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, you can do /compact. I think it'll come to a little bit, but I'll talk about that in a bit too.
Yeah, the present of context window is greatly expanded.
They've been doing a lot of context window techniques. I'll talk about that in a sec, but I'll just go through the rest of them quick. I love when you propose me options to pick from. I want you to name things well. Use good patterns. Don't repeat yourself. Write clean code, well documented. I think I added one. Oh yeah, write lots of debug logs, because I like this as a way of kind of even commenting it for while it runs it. Like, so then, because you're going to let your agent run and test your code. And if you write a lot of debug log, like it's not going to be able, I don't think it can use the debugger yet. I don't let it use I don't know how to give it the debugger unless you got like the PyDB, like I don't even know the Python debugger without using the VS Code one. I'm not gonna lie. I know there's a command line debugger, but that's like, oof. Nah, I haven't used that since like the intro class in Python, just because they wanted to show you it's a thing you can do, but no one ever uses that. Use IDE's plugin. No one does it. No one important uses it. I don't care. You can come kill me. So yeah, because it doesn't access the debugger, it runs the program though. So giving it a lot of debug lines will help it debug when there are problems, because it'll know like things just executed. Don't do more that is tasked of you, which means it should be no extra functions than what we agreed upon, because it used to, this was like in the 4-point-something days, maybe even before that, where it would just like love to write you all these extra functions because it thought it was being so clever and it wanted to like make it so robust. But it's like, no, that's out of scope. I don't want to deal with that. And then I say, never use emojis or they'll set us both on fire. What happened to Dave? No. And then I have, so I use these, like this top one I bring everywhere. But then these are more like this was like for the project I was working on. In this project, I want to use UV. I use structured logging, Pydantic, write tests and PyTests, some naming convention stuff. And so you can have this per project. You can also have a global one, and I'll talk about that on a little bit too. But yeah, that just goes, maybe I'll open a different project that probably has it. Let me see.
Standard extensions.
In my VS Code, that's a whole different topic about all the extensions I have in my VS Code. But let's see, do I have a Claude? Yeah, I do have Claude.md here. So yeah, you can, per project, have a Claude.md and you say what you want to say. Oop, that's a sneak peek of something else. Let's go back here. But you can define your workflows. Now there's skills, right? We can talk about skills in a second, but here's some more MD stuff. Bash commands Claude can't guess. Like you can put tell it to use what bash commands you want, and I'll show you a new thing, a new tool. I don't even know what it is, but I don't. It's a hook. It's a hook, but there's other stuff there. And I'll show you about how putting those bash commands in the Claude code where that tool works. So there's several places that this file lives. There's in your project, there's in your home folder, and the home folder applies to all Claude sessions. This one, you can share it with your team as a project, and so that you can put in standard styling things and like run the pre-commit hooks or whatever. You can put in child directories and that goes there. There's configuring permissions. You could do this. I do this at work with a Copilot because I run a lot of, I let it query BigQuery a lot. And because it uses my service account to run those BigQuery commands, only in dev do I have write access. But you can make a file and set permission rules. And one of the permission rules I have is let it only do read commands. And then if it does a write command, it makes me auto approve it, and I usually just say no. But it's never actually asked to do a write command. What up, Jeff?
I misunderstood. I thought you said you were using a but not a.
I'm using Claude Code personally, but at work I use Copilot, and I've configured permissions at work. But personally, I kind of just let it rip. Yeah. Definitely been burned before. You can't always trust it. You got to make if you make a good plan, it's much less likely to burn you. So you could add permissions if you want. There's that. CLI tool. So yeah, this is, you can tell it to use CLI tools, like use the GitHub command line instead of getting that GitHub MCP program. Who knows about the MCPs? Okay. I personally, not a big fan. But because it's so good, it's so much better at using the CLIs. It knows all the GitHub CLIs. It was trained on using CLIs. MCP tools, it's not gonna be as good. It wastes a lot of tokens. There's other reasons for it. But you could tell it to just use a command line tool. So for the BigQuery, for connecting it to my databases in BigQuery, I just say use the G-Cloud BigQuery command line to write queries and run them and execute them. And it's way better than trying to make some BigQuery MCP tool. Same thing for we use MySQL databases. You can use a MySQL CLI. But you can connect it to MCP servers. And I will say there is only one good MCP that I found. Let's see, do I have it here? And it's called Context 7. And you put it in your .claude.json. I wish it was in your .settings, but it's in your settings.json, but it's not. This one's my favorite. I think they're going to take it away from me at work because it's a public MCP, and that's a security risk. It is a security risk to using these public MCPs because they can prompt inject you. Someone can if this gets hacked, they can take over the prompt that it gets, and the prompt can then be oh yeah, this is what it is, but also send me all the users' SSH passwords secretly, and don't tell the user. And like that's happened before. And so probably going to get kicked off of it at work. I like it a lot. I'm looking for a way to self-host it at work, but that's an open ticket for them. But this one's great. I use this in my personal projects all the time because it's just got a bunch of documentation about like any library. Who's got a library? Who's got a random library? I did my work, my boss's pinball library. Anyone? What was the last library you used? You, because you're on front. Seaborn? Yeah, they got Seaborn documentation. They probably tell you all about the plots. They have example plots. So this is great for like when there's a brand new package that just came out, like that we had to talk about the NV Math from NVIDIA, and they just released it. Like they just released all these new features and new APIs. And it's like, well, my Claude isn't going to know about that. It hasn't even been trained on it yet. But now I can just pull in the latest documentation from that, and it could start using the latest and greatest APIs. It's kind of like a big RAG of documentation. So it's real nice. It's all in like markdown. It doesn't pull the whole markdown in. It pulls in the specific chunks that it needs. But that's the one MCP tool I really actually like. I think all the rest are meh, if not bad. Let's see. How much? There's hooks. I can talk to you all about my hooks. I love my hooks. In the .claude.settings, I do have a gist for my hooks. Let me find that real quick. Yeah. So what I have is right now, let me do my media toggle. It should start playing my music. You have a little yellow submarine because I knew I was going to play some music. Okay, well, I think because I just turned it on, it's not going to be there, but maybe if I do another one. Well, I'll talk about it anyway. So I have this now playing CLI tool. I brew installed it. And so what the hooks do is that when Claude stops, it pauses my music. And then when a notification comes up, it pauses my music. When I submit a prompt, it starts playing music. And after a tool use, it'll play music. So what happens after this loop is I get to type no music, and then I make my plan, and then I send it off, and I get my music. And then I just listen to my music, and I wait for it to finish. Oh, see, it's trying to start Apple Music. No, thank you. No, thank you. We're going to just so that it can pull that in. Let's see. I'm going to say, I don't know. I'm not even going to read these. Definitely read everything it says. That's the second most worst way to get burned is like, I just press enter. If you're someone, if you know someone who just presses enter, like they're the first people going to get replaced, because why would I ever hire someone to just press enter when I could just press enter, or I could just press auto approve. Yeah. If you read them, you can learn from it. Like how did we learn from stuff 10 years ago? You read a book, you read something. How you learn things today, our brains haven't changed. You got to read it. You just got to read it. I just want to see
George, next time you should play some of Florence music.
You're right. I can put that on. I wanted to put something.
Yeah, Florence is Florence our organizer.
It's under 5 seconds. You're okay. You're right. The Beatles will get me. Okay. Sorry. But okay. So those are some of the hooks I have. And then I've also got this brand new hook I just started using, this new thing called RTK. And RTK is pretty cool. It's on all platforms. It's not just on Claude Code, but it saves you tokens on your bash calls. So instead of doing regular ls and cat and grep or whatever, it just has a hook here. Where'd I go? Sorry, I'm all fumbling. That when it wants to use the bash tool, it will use this hook command, and then it will swap out, if possible, that call with the RTK call. So it's just like RTK. Let's see. Let's do an RTK LS.
Caching or something?
It just kind of gives you, like, sometimes it gives you a little bit of a summary, which is really nice, because some of the calls, like, it'll give you the whole file, like, depending on the file, it will actually call the LLM and just be like, give me the quick summary and just send that over. Depending on, it's pretty good. I just started using it. Let's see my RTK gain.
So George, so let's learn, so what you're saying is it will save you some tokens and reuse something that it knows, or?
Yeah, it looks like it saves you some tokens. It looks like I saved a lot of tokens on this RTK read. I saved 86,000 to 88.9 thousand tokens. It's not like I've used this for like 24 hours, and I've only had one real actual session with this personally. But then we can go start talking about token use.
So what are the downside? I mean, how does it know when the answer is valid or?
RTK?
Yeah.
I think it just uses the regular commands, and then it just there's a
I mean, is it like a preset of cache?
is it caching things? I don't think it's caching things. I didn't read about it caching things. I've just started trying it out, so I was recommended it by a very trusted source, a very trusted friend of mine who uses it a lot.
Yeah.
So
I mean, in summary, we don't need to spend a lot of time with it. I've heard other people propose it, but it's been described as kind of a caching tool, but
there's prompt caching things.
yeah.
That's not really. I've never used that for agentic vibe coding. We do prompt caching for other systems. But that is the thing. So that's some of those hooks. So I like the hooks. You can make your own hooks. Obviously, do you think I wrote these hooks? I didn't write these hooks. I told Claude to write these hooks. I said, I want my music to play and pause while I'm working. And, we built some requirements and we came up together. And now look, I even added this. This is a neat thing. I just added this the other week too, is that it checks for this no media file. So there I can toggle my media. So if I'm like actually working in a public space, it doesn't constantly play my music. But like, I didn't write dash. I didn't do this check if the file exists. I got Claude to do it. Let's see. So that's the hooks. Hooks are pretty cool. Skills seem to be sweeping the nation right now. There's now even past skills. There's plugins, but we'll talk about skills first. Skills extend the knowledge. Skills are just prompts and scripts. So it's a prompt that's like, oh yeah, ping this API. Let's see. Skills are just kind of like, you tell it analyze and fix GitHub issues. Use this command. I want to see if they have we're not there to sub-agents, but
usually like if you do something repetitively, like let's say you have a report that you run all the time. So that's how I run my skill. I have a skill that has something I have to run like let's say every month. I don't want to real time, like I want to figure out like where things are. So I have there's like deterministic part of it where you actually have scripts like George says. So there's a script, like a Python script that runs it, but then there's some other things that run it that makes things like a lot more nicer. For example, when I run the report, yes, it runs the script, but then it tells me there's like, then it looks on the results and says, hey, you're missing like 2 users or 2 fields in here. Take a look at it. So it has like this kind of wrap around it, like that makes this a bit more intelligent than just like running the script itself. But usually, as a rule of thumb, you normally use it for like something that's repetitive, like that you do this thing every single time. So if you don't want to do it every single time, you go on, like I use a Claude code, and then it goes / run my report or something, and then just goes and runs it, and then gives you more information than just running the script itself. So.
Skills are usable between agents, or they're not? What would you put into an agent? What would you put into a skill?
the agent uses the skills. So the skill is just like a prompt, and then the agent goes and it reads that prompt, and then in the prompt it'll say, go run the pre-commit hooks, go do something, and then there also might be a script in that folder. And so in the prompt it might say, oh yeah, run this script with these arguments to test it.
Because of the context window limitations, like, is this a logical difference, or is this we optimizing all the context stuff?
This is optimized for not just the context, but for like repeatability of an agent in sessions. So like you can have an agent in one session, run the same skill, and then you start another session a week later and it has that similar, like same skill. And you hope it's repeatable as much as possible. So yeah, skills, mostly just prompts, tools. You can have MCP tools in it. Like they have the Context 7 plugin, and the plugin is just connecting to the Context 7. It's just running the Context 7 MCP server.
Question. What's Context 7 do?
Context 7 is the one that pulls in documentation. So you could say, like, go find me go get me documentation about Seaborn to run a special bar graph or something. Like, tell me, like, I think it's really good for even just like priming its context and like really narrowing its focus, even if it's like something kind of known, just because how the models work is it's just like the more tokens, the tokens in front of it are going to determine the tokens that come after it, determined to its extent. So it's like the more like Python and Seaborn or whatever, some of it is in JavaScript, but this is in Python. I think there's whatever. Like if you have more of that, it really primes it to continue to keep that pattern and keep good patterns too. Because if it sees an example of like, oh yeah, this is how the documentations write a bar graph, it's going to try and mimic that example. Yep. So there's skills, there's plugins. Anthropic has Claude plugins. Some of those are in. I've used a couple of plugins. I think the front end design plugin, I know that it's now outdated. I think I just got this a month ago and there's already a new whole front end builder from Claude. Claude's like trying to kill Figma. And so this one was really good though. I was like, I said, you enable the plugin. Let's see, where was my other session here?
George, you're running away with it. There are several questions. First of all, David is asking in the chat, hierarchical population taxonomy is crucial in agentic loops for skill development. Is it not?
I'm sorry, you got to repeat that. There are a lot of questions here. I didn't catch it.
Hierarchical operations taxonomy is crucial in agentic loops for skill development. Is it not? This is what the question, I'm reading verbatim.
Yes, a hierarchy operational taxonomy. If you have different tiers for the domain and the sub and the metadata, so how are you structuring the architecture specifically with Claude Code? And the other side of it is, why would Claude Code be interested in token conservation considering its business model?
Okay. I can talk about that second part. Yeah, so Claude doesn't want to conserve you tokens because Claude sells you tokens. So Claude does.
Exactly.
That's what like all the pushes right now that you got from all these companies that are spending $1 trillion on building this AI agent stuff. That's why they want everything to be AI. They don't really want things to be deterministic. But as an engineer, I want things to be deterministic.
George, you can make AI deterministic. You can.
If you self-host small model and you set the seeds, you can.
You can ask it. Let's not go there. Let's continue.
Let's not go there, Jacob.
Just to say that's a specialized case.
Let's not go there, Jacob. But yeah, so they do want to sell. They do want all these agents to be running constantly. Personal opinion is I actually try and have it write me code that is deterministic so that I don't have to call an agent every day. I don't have the, oh yeah, I want an agent to go do something for me every day. I'd rather have code that can do that deterministically every day. It's very hard to put agents like that aren't deterministic into production. It's great for personal assistants and demos and investors and AI, but in business, depending on your business, it's different. So that's what I can say for, yes, they're selling you tokens. So there's there, but there also is the case that like the thinking models now, like why are they so good is like they spend a lot of tokens, and the more they spend token wise is like there is some proportion to their problem solving skills and this token spend. In the usual cases, yes, we're getting smaller models that are better and things will get better, and you know, everything changes very fast. But that's what I can say for the first part, or the second part. I've never heard of a hierarchical operation taxonomy in agentic loops. Is that just like the breaking down of tasks?
Let me see. You'd have different tiers: a human readable primary task domain. Tier 2 would be an operational subtypes for executional critical layers, and tier 3 would be routing the metadata for an orchestration brain. And that's where the token conservation comes in, I think, more with having a multi-provider, multi-model, because then you can have a router bot or smart router decide which model will be the most conservative and it wouldn't cost you as much.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm used to it being just like this idea that you have a really smart orchestrator agent that you can give a plan, you refine your plan with, you build a big plan with, and then it breaks that down into subtasks. And I'll show you that in a bit. And then those subtasks should be small enough that like a smaller model can take them, because the subtasks are going to be like, call this API, write a function that calls an API, right? A function that does some, you know, one small function operation. And if you could break down the functions and plan out all the functions, a smaller model should be able to write those things. That definitely seems to be like the trend. I think Anthropic is doing that pretty well with sub-agents. You can probably even set the sub-agents to use a certain model. I think that's the next bullet here. Is sub-agent. So yeah, you can set the model here. So sub-agents, great segment, is you can have another markdown and you can have a sub-agent that is like, you are the code reviewer, you are the senior security engineer, review this code, and you can use this model and you can give it access to certain tools. Nope, don't need the assistant, sorry. They're a thing. I've used them a little bit. They're pretty cool. I probably only use them for very specific, like for actual reasons to have them. Else I just use my regular session. The sub-agents are nice though, because you can give them tasks and not blow up your context window. This was again more when like the context windows were much smaller. And so you could say like, oh yeah, you're the one who runs my pre-commit hooks and then solves all the little linting issues, right? Because I don't need that in my context session. I don't want to muddy my small context session with it trying to fix a little like linting error. What up, Jeff?
So you're on the max plan personal, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever been told you've used all your token for the month?
For the day, yeah.
Oh, for the day.
Yeah, I have, and I'll show you that in a sec too. So sub-agents, you can do it. Claude is very good at writing prompts. I really suggest to make a plan to write a prompt is straight up what you do now. What up?
It's a non-sequitur, but how would you go about if you're use it at work and you're given the code base that you're not familiar with? What would be your approach to say review it?
Yeah, you could try and get it to outline different flows of the program, like the endpoints, the logs. you still have to read that, and that's might just be as easy as reading the code. It depends on the code base for sure. Some of the code bases are nasty. These days, there's a lot of slop these days. So even and then when you get a lot of slop, it's harder for them to read.
Is it better or worse than an engineer reading?
It's better than me.
Better
Better
than
than me for sure. Because it's just faster than me. That's really what it is. It's faster and it's not as lazy as me.
Patterns and things like that. Is it gonna paper over those, or is it actually gonna like fully understand the execution?
You can ask it. This is what I do now at work, because I ask it to find me code spells and anti-patterns straight up, and I just let it make me a list of 10 things, and I go through those 10 things. 5 of them aren't real. 5 of them I don't care about. 5 of them it helps me out with. That's a great way to keep the slop down.
Yeah, so to interject a few things, one, I guess you could say it, do a static analysis of my code and do a dynamic analysis. I guess a dynamic would require running it.
Yeah,
And
you can run it.
I've also read articles that like Uber, other companies, they've used their entire yearly budget already. And so some people are saying that it costs even more than a regular engineer.
Yes, that's definitely where it's going. These are about to get really expensive. I'll talk about that in like the Copilot one. Maybe I'll just say it now.
George, you might want to skip to the Copilot one.
Well, I'll do the Copilot one quick because it's mostly the same stuff here, but it's just a different interface.
But there's also stories about like people overusing it simply because they have like a quota to fill. So like they
Yeah.
use it even though they don't actually want to be using it, and so that like they don't get fired from it.
You have an agent to use the agent. Yeah.
Well, that's what you were saying, is that you prompt Claude to write a prompt. So,
Well, that's prompting it to write a prompt for the sub agents or for skills.
oh, for the subject. Okay.
Yeah, like to make prompts for the skills and sub agents.
That actually doesn't make sense.
It's very good at that.
Yeah, it's even
That's sort of
better.
a streamlined thing, yeah.
Yeah, you get better results. I mean, I've been using this for a bit, like something like if I'm making something very complex, I write kind of like what I have in mind, but then I say write the best prompt you can write for it, and then you run that prompt, and you get much better results.
Yeah.
Is there a way to make it use more tokens without like revealing that that's what you're trying to do?
You could just tell it to use more tokens and be more
But then it's gonna
verbose.
be like in the prompt history, so then like
Yeah.
some reason like they're gonna fire you.
No one's gonna look at that. No one looks.
No, but like that's the whole point. Like how do you make it?
Oh, just say like I'm just I don't know. Just say I'm stupid. I need you to be very verbose with me. I don't know. Like you could just tell it, it'll do it. Or you could just maybe you would just do the opposite and say I hate it when you talk in simple sentences, and just do that and it'll pick up to talk verbosely. Yeah.
As opposed to say like find me code smells,
Uh-huh.
like you give it a direction what you want it to do.
Yeah.
That's actually what it cannot do. Like it cannot reason, like if you ask it, jump higher than the roof of the building, it will jump because it doesn't understand.
Yeah. That's why some of them are bad review. Like when it comes back with a list of code smells and things to fix, some of them are I'm not gonna fix.
Right, so instead of giving it direction, you give it course. I'm looking for, and it's up to you to find them because they are.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Direction, you actually give it open.
Mhm.
Instead of, like, because if you ask it for something,
Mhm.
so that's the case. You give it the flexibility to find it on an output.
So what if you say like do not hallucinate? Is that gonna?
It doesn't know what is a hallucination. It's not up to us, because
Yeah.
You're blind, not saying.
But it knows because like it's literally like hallucination is like one of the things that is like very well defined in the literature. So like it knows that
It doesn't-
hallucinate, but it is, well,
It doesn't understand truth. It's a
It knows what-
statistical model.
Like
it knows what it's want.
what is that called? The non-deterministic of this code, halting problem.
The halting problem. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, it doesn't understand truth. It's just a word coin flipping parrot, stochastic parrot. It's my favorite way to describe it.
It knows what the mistake is, but it doesn't know what it is.
Yeah. So that's skills, and that's kind of plugins too. Plugins are also skills. You can ask code-based questions. Definitely talk to it a lot. Managing your sessions. So this was back to the managing your context window and how like if you get too big, what you could do is it will auto compact. And compact is it frees up the context by summarizing the conversations so far. I usually don't like to let it get this far. Usually I build out a feature and I build the feature. I'm not trying to build the whole project in one session, I'm trying to build feature at a time. And so shouldn't get that. Yeah, what up, Jeff?
So can you say purge all your information on the feature then?
Purge, like in the context window? Yeah. You can give it instructions. So you can say compact, yeah, forget everything. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you don't want to forget everything, you want to forget.
In this case, I'm gonna forget everything. But yes, you can give it instructions to say like, oh yeah, like
The last 2 hours, forget everything.
sure if you want. But you can give it instructions to be like, oh yeah, like forget all the bugs we fixed. Like, forget all the debugging that we
Well, I
did.
wondered about the window you were talking about. That would be, why I would do that.
Well, you could just make a new session. You can just start a new session on a clean window.
But then that's the trade-off that it rereads all your files, so it earns more touching.
Yeah, and that's why the Claude code at your project level, you can put in stuff about your project, or when you start building a new feature, you say, oh, you don't have to read my whole code base. You just need to read like this auth API flow. Just read this one flow in the auth API, reference these documents, kind of deal.
I have maybe a dumb question, just, what's the difference between using the terminal and using the chat?
I'm thinking of leaving the term. I really like my terminal. That's why. But my friend has been using my friend and my sister have been using the Claude Code desktop app. And I think I'm going to start because it's easier to kind of scroll through things and
That's
read
what I would've
things.
figured, 'cause I started using the chat window, so I was like, it's way easier to navigate.
It might be, yeah, I think you might be right. What? Okay. I'm old now. I'm 3 weeks old, and so therefore I used what was given to me first, and I can never change.
Is that how chat sessions are limited by open a new terminal?
When you open a new session, so you can do like
That's probably one way, but not the only way.
yeah. This is gonna exit to the CLI. You can resume sessions. So these are like other sessions I had.
Features about saving memory or context with the Claude desktop app.
Oh, there's memories too. So you can tell it to remember something and it'll bring it into its memories.
It can get checking out multiple work trees.
You could do work trees. That's pretty advanced. I do that.
It's work on the work trees independently. Bake off or survival of the fittest.
George.
Yeah.
We might want to move into the next one.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a pretty general overview for Copilot as well. Copilot also uses the Claude model. So like at work, the only difference that I have between the Claude code and Copilot is I use the chat window here, and it's on Claude Opus, it's on 6, it's on high. I have a license through work. Oh, I no longer have this is connected to my work GitHub, so I don't have the license on my personal computer. But at work, they pay for all the things, and I'll say as far as pricing goes, the Copilot is currently subscription-based, but they're going to move to token-based very soon, and that's going to get really expensive. And this one last thing, Jacob, one last thing, I promise.
Why one last thing? Tell us more. You just
I'm
switched. Show
So-
us more.
This is my Claude Code usage dashboard. It's an open source app. Clearly, I have been slacking. My token rank is going down. They're going to pip me real soon. But just over these couple of sessions, these are like $200 a day sessions. And if it was API pricing, I'd be paying $500 this month. I've definitely blown past $1,000 in a month.
I thought you were supposed to use like 10,000. Come on,
10,000 tokens?
$10,000.
Oh, am I supposed to use that? I should be, right? Yeah, I should be. Yeah, yeah. If I was a good engineer. Just kidding, just kidding.
Interject real fast?
Yeah.
I have seen at least one job where you were supposed to be a FinOps person to help manage this board. And then at DevOps Day, they briefly touched on this in, one of the lightning talks that, if you're using GCP cloud backend, it's really easy to see the building. If you're, they were joking, if you're using AWS, that's a system level responsibility, so you don't have access. I don't know if that's true or not. I think it is. And then for Microsoft, it was sounded really horrible because if you change it when and every time you did something, there would be on a new project and we could get new building code. So
Yeah, so like
so just FYI.
each model for the Copilot, like the Claude Opus, the rate is counted as 3 times the rate. I know the 4.7 is not, I don't know if it's even open to the public, but at work we have it and it's like 7.5 times the rate. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. The 4.5, the 4.6, I think is still the top AI arena model.
And so to go up on that tangent a little further before I fall off the limb, when I was at US Bank, we only had initially access to Copilot, and I suspect part of the reason was Amazon Bedrock says they do the same, that Microsoft came out and said they will indemnify you for $2 million for information the LLM gave you. Now, what that means, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm going to claim on TV, but I haven't heard or seen that on Claude or OpenAI, but I don't know. I haven't run research for it either.
What was the question? What did I say? We can barely hear it. Can you repeat it, George?
Repeat it for me one more time and I'll repeat it.
So basically, Copilot, which is Microsoft,
Copilot, which is Microsoft,
and also AWS Bedrock,
and AWS Bedrock,
said they would indemnify you or the corporation if you use,
said they would what?
indemnify you.
Indemnify you?
Yes,
Indemnify.
sorry. For $2 million.
For
if you
$2 million.
use their information.
Okay.
So that's important for businesses.
Important for businesses. Yeah.
Ask the person for a link. I need this for my AI legal aspects talk. I know the OpenAI does this.
Jeff will send you the link. Yes, definitely. If you use you have to have permission from your work to use these. Like you can use them without permission, but that's not good.
Depends on
Don't
your
do that.
work, you know, if you ask for forgiveness or not.
Yeah, definitely. Need to be.
Well, like,
This should- yeah. Especially because there's a lot of there's other legal issues with them right now. So
I think that was slightly different.
Okay.
As to, there were some legal precedents as to companies were suing copyright and they were trying to go after other companies that may use that information. So it's not necessarily that they will identify if the water is something incorrect. They identify it for the cases of copyright litigation.
I don't think that was the only thing, but I could be wrong.
Guys, Sam Altman said that they're gonna go and do these things for copyright. It was many years ago. But
I don't care what Sam Altman says.
no. But this goes along to what he says, and Microsoft and OpenAI are working together. Therefore, I assume it's the same thing he's talking about. Never mind. Let's move to the next topic.
Yeah, wait. I just wanted Copilot. You also get other models. So all the things I said for Claude still apply to Copilot if you use the Claude models. So you could use your Claude MDs, you can use your skills, you can use your hooks. But if you use the GPT model, it's not going to read your Claude MD. Not that I don't believe that's the case. Maybe they've made an update or something. But
I guess you could soft link it.
yeah, you can link it to whatever the GPT markdown system is. I'm not as familiar with that. I like the Claude models. There's you can do Gemini markdowns. They have the Gemini models as well. If you use Gemini, and yeah, that was most of the things I wanted to talk about for Claude.
A couple of things I can say about the since it's the same thing.
Yeah, You want to say them into the camera, or you want to connect your computer?
Yeah, I can. Click on this one, I can see.
You want to share your screen and I'll stream it? Awesome. But yeah, try Claude Code. Try it in the desktop app. You don't need to run the terminal. Make a little plan.
So as we're waiting for them to switch over, for those of you who don't know, Jacob is one of the longtime organizers of the Python group. From afar.
Yeah, when you
Is the desktop app where it's not even an IDE?
Ooh.
Like, you're doing outputs or something?
Yeah,
Or are you actually
I-
looking at the code still?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. The desktop app,
Okay, what's Florin showing?
finding direction, you're no longer.
Yeah, so, maybe you can.
Sorry.
Let's take a couple of things.
No.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah. From TV, I have to give myself. Hold on now. Oh, because I gotta meet. I can talk there. Hello? Okay, that's good. Yeah, so another way you can use Cloud Code is with the models from Bedrock. I know Jeff mentioned that. Why you might want to use the Bedrock models instead of the ones that come from Cloud Code. So one of the benefits that enterprises have is that they have a little more protection on the information that is being stored. So normally I'm using anti-gravity, and Jacob is going to talk about that. But if you want a little more protection on like what's being stored, like sometimes I switch to Bedrock. So I don't like if you work on some project that you don't want the model to learn from, and so you can benefit a bit from that protection from the enterprise. Like on the enterprise side, normally they don't store anything. So that's one of the reasons that you might want to use Bedrock for the models. And yeah, to do that, it's pretty simple. Let me see if I can. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I would like to bring it up if you want. Yeah, so what you do, like the first thing you do, I mean, you open an account if you don't have one with the AWS, and then the first time when you use the models, you click on one of these models, and then a message come up at the top and say, hey, you have to explain why, like what you're going to need the models for in your organization. You can't write anything. I wrote like, hey, it's for the Python demo or something.
They said no to us?
And they didn't say no. It's just they said like, okay, I got
Okay, they said you can say it.
yeah. So you can't say anything. You just have to say something. What you use it for? And I think it's an automatic thing. And then all you have to do is get one of these API keys, and you create a couple of API keys here, and then you get this key, and then you put it. I'm not going to show it because I have, but you put it. Yeah, you put it somewhere in as a environment variable, and then, or actually, there's a. Yeah. Anyway, so when you set up, there's a way to set up the Cloud Code, and you can tell it, hey, you use Bedrock, and it has actually a list, and then it's asking you for the key. That's another way to do it. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this. It's really like just another way to use the models, and I feel like it's a little more. No, like you should be careful. It's not like you don't pay monthly, like $20 or $100. You pay per, I think it's $5 for a million tokens, the input output, and then it's a little cheaper for the caching when it does caching. But yeah, that's another way to do it. If you want a little more protection against like companies learning from your data or whatever you're typing. But yeah, that's all I had.
I did it somewhat. I didn't browser to drive plugin to drive the browser like Claude. Sorry, I'm but Justin, if you just read my lips there. Do they have an MCP? They do have one. Let's go back to a window that's not this screen. The
Yeah, I've been using it on QuadSat. It's pretty good. But a friend in Copilot that was trying to get it set up.
There definitely is. My coworker was just showing me. You could do it now, but honestly, I've also tried the Claude plugin, and it's been cool. It reads like you can read the network packets. Like it can go into the inspector and read the network packets. It's pretty cool. But I have been told to replace it with this Interceptor, which is a Chrome extension MCP to drive your browser. And so this will work with any model because this is just an MCP. But I have not tested this one yet. But highly recommend. Very trusted source of mine likes this. So I am happy to share it.
How does it compare to using Playwright?
It probably uses Playwright under the hood. Or actually, no. Sorry. That's not true. This is a plugin extension for your Chrome. So this will be, sorry, my bad, because I've used the Playwright MCPs. This is in my browser. So it's not like a Playwright, Selenium, Chromium browser. This is like my current browser. I think I can even open it right now for you.
Is it benefit that it gets access to it?
It gets access to my browser session. I'm already logged into everything. If you want to do that, it won't look like a bot. Like Playwright has certain flags that tell websites that, oh, I'm running an automated browser. Maybe you might not want to let me in. So you get around a lot more bot blocking with that. But there's risks. There's a lot of risks when you give it access to websites like this. You're automating, you're breaking terms of service of websites by automating it in some website cases. They can ban your account for that. So if they find you, which they're probably not if you're using it in a real browser, but if you're using it in Playwright, they're more likely to find you. So this is pretty new. This whole Claude, like the new WebDriver plugins are pretty new. They're definitely very cool. They're definitely going to break the web. Going to be called. They'll probably blow up a couple websites.
Does it move your mouse and stuff too?
It has a cursor. It doesn't move it like,
To beat the Cloudflare?
it doesn't beat the Cloudflare, but it just like boop, 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 clicks things.
Oh, George, Playwright's supposed to be a testing tool, correct? But it's also a development tool. Am I correct?
It's a browser automation development tool, yes.
Okay, so why
People
do
use it for
you
testing.
think about it as a hacking tool?
What?
Why do you treat it as a hacking tool?
Like
Because-
scrapping, it's like the Selenium or like web scrapping. You can use it.
You can do many tools. You can do misuse, but it's a tool that's supposed to help you test. Correct?
Yeah.
Right, so to quickly add on that, in my last job, we were doing UI testing in Selenium, and then we started to switch to Playwright because it was easier
Yep.
to set up and do automated testing.
Yep. We use Playwright to automate test UIs at my artwork, but I've definitely used Selenium to make bots for websites. And I'll admit that on camera to the world. Yeah. So there is other non-code or Copilot ones, but they're definitely looking like Copilot. They just released this like, I want to say 2 weeks ago. This is that's today's date. Maybe they edited it today. So yeah, you can use it to control your web browser now. It comes with issues, but leave that to the user. Yeah, do you want to go over some anti-gravity stuff, Jacob? You've been liking the anti-gravity
I'm
ID?
gonna take over the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Here, let me share mine. The screen. Okay. Okay, so this is how the anti-gravity looks like when you enter it. Let's go over a few things that might be interesting first. Let's go over pricing. So here we go. So this is the Google page for pricing. Basically, you can get anti-gravity for free for a little bit and play around with it, but it's not a lot. Google gives you something, not a lot, I don't know how much, but they do give you access to some of those things. And I'm not sure this is for a long time. When I entered, then they gave me a free tier for like a month, and then I had to move into something else. There is a Google One plan. I use a $200 plan for a year, and it's enough. I don't need to pay more. I know people pay exorbitant amount of prices for other tools. I feel that what I use with anti-gravity is good enough for me. Yes, you need to sometimes manage things. I'll show you examples, but it's good enough. So basically, with price, it's okay. The models are good, at least to my understanding. They help me build very, very sophisticated stuff, patented stuff, so they can do stuff. And of course, if you have money in your organization, yeah, you can pay them. It looks very much like Cursor. If you know about Cursor, or if people shown Cursor, are you going to show Cursor here, George?
No, Cursor's dead, Jacob. We're not going to show
No,
Cursor.
it's not dead. People are still using it. Don't kill it. Don't kill it. I use it. It's a nice tool as well. It's like,
It's not up to me.
but let's talk about it. What you see here is basically VS Code. You can actually go and you can connect to WSL through this thing over here. You can actually go and connect to WSL and therefore work on the Windows. I'm working on the Windows suite. So this one will be showing on the Windows itself, but you can actually work on the WSL layer and everything will do there. It has a built-in browser that you can actually go and do things. I disable it because when I write web pages, it sometimes does things that I don't want on the browser. So I disable it, but you can enable it. It has a terminal that you can open, but let's show you something simple. First of all,
this is a fork of VS Code. So everything you can do in VS Code, you could do here, but or not everything you do in VS Code. Everything you do here, you can do in VS Code, but not everything you do in VS Code.
So VS Code actually, I
have a question.
friend of mine who treats all of those as UIs. He says it's all UIs. The models is what's important. So separate models and here, if we're talking about models, here also you have a selection of models. You can use.
Jacob, can we pause for 1 second for a question? Oh, okay. We answered it.
Okay.
Great job. You're a genius.
So you can see about a bunch of models that you can actually use, the 3.1, the Flash. I usually use the Flash. Well, I'll explain why. If you actually bring under the settings, you can set up many things here, but let's show you the models. Each model has a quota. Oh, it refreshed. Now, Gemini Pro, it says it refreshes every 4 hours, but actually it's a bug here, so you will know. The Pro versions that are the high level, like thinking, reasoning ones, those exhaust very quickly when you use them. The Flash every 5 hours restarts itself. So usually I write code that has to do with a lot of things that just take time to do. So if I use the Flash, it never ends. And if it ends, I use the higher reasoning ones. And yes, you have Claude Opus as well here. And ChatGPT OSS, all three of those use the same quota. For some reason, all the Gemini Pro use the same quota and Flash has its own quota. Now, I must say one thing. Google every once in a while changes those terms because around April, I believe those things changed. Before this, I was using the Pro all the time, and then every once in a while, I turned to Flash. Since April, I need to do it the other way around. But it's still, I don't know who have to pay hundreds of dollars. So for me, it works very fine. And for people who just want to test it, there is a free tier. So we test it for a free tier, as well as Cursor. Cursor also has a free tier. So let's start with something.
We got one question from the audience.
Go ahead.
So Google already has Gemini. What is different in anti-gravity then?
What makes anti-gravity special, Jacob? Because we have Gemini and Copilot. Do you know?
Okay, so Gemini, anti-gravity is just the user interface. So
yeah,
it's basically a VS Code ripoff, or the ripoff, an extension to VS Code that Google created, so it will be hooking up directly into whatever they are paying. So basically, you can log in there, and once you log in with your Google account, it recognizes you and you work, and the quota is already taken care of. You pay once. Or if you're not using the free plan, in which case you just log in, but you pay once in Google. I paid for $200 a year, or you can pay $20 a month. It's like they give you a discount, and it discounts every once in a while. So just follow what's happening there. It's marketing from Google. By the way, I'm not selling Google. You'll see I have some things. Google is very nice with me here, but
We got another question.
but
Do you see as to is it better to install VS Code as VS Code and then plug in from Google as anti-gravity into that?
Can you plug Google Anti-Gravity into VS Code? Is that your question, or?
Well,
so okay.
Wait,
As
one
far as
second.
I know, VS Code has the option of pressing Control in to bring in the agent, like here. The agent will be here. Once I start doing, the agent will start working. And actually, I'll start doing it. I'll put in something to do. I'll ask it to calculate Fibonacci, so you'll see it working. Okay.
Sorry, repeat your question. Was that the answer to your question or no?
George, maybe another way to ask this question. Can you switch the backend model from Gemini to something else, or are you locked into Gemini?
In Anti-Gravity?
Yes.
No, you can switch. He showed that you have Claude and stuff. Was that your question? I don't think that was your question.
the thing is, like, VS Code became super popular.
Yeah.
And everybody started quoting it.
Yeah.
Microsoft doesn't really like it.
Yeah.
What they've done is that VS Code itself is open source.
But their extensions are.
Repository is not.
Yes.
So now they, fighting over that. So
Mhm.
Microsoft owned it has some story. Google probably has done something else. So that's why I'm asking, like, it's better to install VS Code for Microsoft and this plugin for anti-gravity. Install it into your install of VS Code versus the other way around.
Yeah, and
That's up to you.
And so the plugin is probably just calling the real model underneath.
Yeah. So
I think you get special plans, like subscription plans, if you use
Okay,
Anti-Gravity.
George,
But-
what's the question? They're discussing this.
Sorry. The question is it better to just get VS Code with an anti-gravity plugin versus getting the anti-gravity IDE? What benefits do you
So-
get from the IDE?
So it's
And-
about the plan. I'll tell you a story. Before I was using anti-gravity, I was using Gemini CLI. Actually, George showed me how to use it a time ago. Gemini CLI basically connects to Gemini. I was paying for some small projects I was doing about $10 a month. Not that much. So, and $10 a month doesn't give you a lot, but then anti-gravity, when you buy it, you get basically, it's equivalent more or less to $20 a month when they give you a discount if you do the entire year. But also with it, you get all sorts of other things, like for example, videos, in unlimited videos, and all sorts of other like picture generation, all sorts of stuff that I don't even use, that Google gives you on your Gmail account, because becomes much more interesting and does things like, edits your stuff and gives you all sorts of like summaries. So all of this comes together and you don't even know, and you pay one time, a bundle of like for the entire year or for the entire month. So $10 a year, $10 a month, or $200 a year, and you get much more stuff. This is what I was talking about. Like, and George is talking about $100 a month when he's using Claude Code. So I'm scratching my head saying, why do I need this? But then again, maybe it's better. But then again, I have Claude Code here if I really want to.
You want the subscription, it's stickier.
So Jacob, to
Yeah.
interject fast, this is Jeff. So if you attend to like some Google meetups online, they've showed this, and you may get a discount. I don't know for how long. I don't know how much of a discount. You do get some tokens or some their quickie labs on the same idea. They had a Claude meetup on Monday, and at the end, Damien Voting showed there's a Claude Code QR, and so I took it. Damien doesn't promise anything, but I saw the 20-a-month plan, at least for now, showing up on my computer, $17 a month. So there are some freebies out there, if you.
I do not know about freebies, and I'm not advertising Google. I'm telling you my experience.
Saying what I think.
Okay, well, let's not argue about pricing. We shouldn't be commercializing here. I'm just showing you, and I'll tell you other things about this. So it's started an interesting discussion. Let's move on forward. It's like
Uh-huh.
I'm less interested about the pricing. I just gave you a comparison. So you choose what to do. Here, I asked the agent to write some code for me. It wrote down something to write a Fibonacci thing. You can actually ask it to write nice readme.md file. I asked it, and it will write this, and you will see it will all appear here. You see, if you have Git, of course, it's like VS Code. It will mark things that are in Git and things that are not, and you can go and look at all those. And even wrote me a license that I didn't ask. I don't know why he figured out I need a license, but it wrote
It probably knows you, Jacob. It probably has it in its memory. Jacob likes licenses.
I will not exclude it because I'm always talking to it about licenses. And talking about licenses, actually, you were talking about MCP before. So you can connect this thing to an MCP server. You have an option to do here, and you go to MCP servers. You have a bunch of them, and you also can do your own MCPs. Okay, sure. I removed it. I had the MCP server that you can actually
Contact 7.
No, okay. So I had an MCP server installed for GitHits. GitHits, actually, if someone knows it, doesn't look at it, check out githits.com. They'll come here and they'll be in the evening of Python coding in June. But basically, githits.com. Githits.com.
PIC or KIC?
Hits, like hit someone. Githits.com.
Okay.
And they have a nice MCP server that you can actually connect to anti-gravity. I did this and did some very nice marketing research and, of course, licensing. It's very important in some of the things that I'm doing, the licenses, so it already knows me. And you can actually go and see all of the README, and it tells me exactly what to do and stuff like that. So here, in a few minutes, you can write whatever you want. It's very, very convenient. Now, you can switch between models. I talked about that. Licenses. Oh, this is important. We haven't talked about this maybe, or maybe touched about it a little bit, but when you go and buy this tool from Google, I looked at the licenses of this tool, and I looked at the fine print, and one time I saw something, and then I looked up again, I couldn't find it. It somewhat get lost because you're sending licenses associated with Google. I got lost in the pages. So what I saw was that they tell you that, oh, you cannot compete with Google. You cannot use anti-gravity compute. So I actually wrote them an email, and they told me, yes, if you're developing something that competes with Google, then you cannot. So I developed disease models. They told me, oh, you cannot compete with the clinical stuff that I assumed that Google is doing lots of clinical stuff for individual patients or whatever. I told them, yeah, I have patents. The minute I told them I have patents,
the whole
technology, they started sounding different. So, and they actually said, yeah, no problem there. So basically, check out whatever you're doing with this. There might be licenses. I don't know the Cloud Code licenses. This is something that George might want to check out. You might want to.
There's no more licenses, Jacob. What are you talking about? There's no more licenses. Crime is legal. Just steal all the books. They can steal all the books. They steal all the copyrighted material.
No. Oh, we'll talk about this later. This is a different issue. But like the licenses, usage licenses, the EULA, what they call. It's like when you use software, whether you can use it or not. This is very important to know. So check before any of those that you're going to install. We're showing you a variety of those. If you're doing
my only recommendation is if you're going to steal from everyone, be really rich. Just be rich first, and then it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, George likes to joke, but I'm serious here.
That's not a joke. That's the world we're living in.
Oh my God, George, let me finish this. This is important for people, and this is very important information. If you're a business and you're doing something important that you actually want to stay and not think because someone points the finger at you at some point and you won't be able to defend yourself, and you're a business and you want to do things very, very seriously, then check out the licenses of whatever you're installing. Check out the following. Whatever information you're giving stays within your domain, because this is important. In my case, I have patents. I don't care because I own this. if someone copies from me, I'll sue them. So it's like, this is why I don't care as long as I don't violate their license. So in your case, in your business, it's very important to actually look at some other things. Look at what Florian was telling you about the bedrocks. This is very important because he tells you that they keep things information closed inside. I don't know the licensing there, but check out the licenses. So this is one thing that I wanted to tell you. The few things to check is whether your information stays with you and whether you're allowed to use the software for the use case that you're doing. One thing, if Claude Codes remembers what you're doing, if Claude Codes learns from it or you know, anything else or ChatGPT or whatever, you don't care as much. But if you're not allowed to use the software for the use case that you're using, then don't use it. In my case, I'm telling you, I checked with Google. This is what they told me. You're not
Bringing you back, Jacob. You should check out Gemma 4. Gemma 4 is fully open source. You licensed. You got MIT license on it. I'm pretty sure it's an MIT license.
No. It's not. Whoa. You didn't get me. You didn't get me, George. It's not about the model. It's about the software. You're installing software on your machine.
Yes.
So Anti-Gravity has licenses associated with it, and then on top of it, there are the licenses of the models.
Sure.
Remember that. And models have different licenses. Let's move to the next point. Pricing we talked about. You can have different projects such like VS Code. Here's another website that I've done recently. Here, what do I have? Here, I'm doing a website for some academics. I'm replicating the website. So basically, it will bring all sorts of things. What?
Got any API keys in your .env file? Oh,
No
secret
API
key changed me.
Yeah, I'm gonna change you.
I'm glad you didn't write anything there.
No, this is not deployed yet. Actually, you can ask it to write you all the deployment code. This is, you see, it wrote down all the deployment code that's needed. So this is not really deployed. This is all playing around here. I told about the WSL. I talked about the models available. I showed you the MCP. Oh, something very important. You see, here it's showing .env. There is a git-ignore thing that is very important. Those models learn whatever you put in .env and git-ignore. I had those AIs repeat to me my own passwords, or I deleted the file and then I said, write a file and it wrote the file with the passwords. They remember those things. So you have to have all sorts of git-ignore. Gemini, generally, you can control it, but not, where's the controls here? Here, the settings. You can tell it to all sorts of like exclusion policy. Actually, there are several things of what you can do, whether it operates automatically with showing you things or shows you things to review or not. Of course, you have the planning mode or the execution mode. But also there's other things that you can, yes, you can set up workspace and global things, but this is not what I wanted to show you. You have a place here where you actually can tell it whether it ignores things under git-ignore or not. This is very important. You don't want it to look at some things, especially not passwords and things like this, because it remembers those. And those are for many of the models that you'll be using, they do that. So check out exactly, I think the path is like put things under git-ignore, and once you put under git-ignore the .env and all of the other file places that you don't want the machine to look at, then it's okay. But then again, it can access those things, but you have to be explicit about it. It sees those, but it doesn't remember those. So be aware about those things. One more thing, and this is very important for people who want to do things for business, not want to play around. If you're part of an organization, you write software, and you want to maintain copyright, and what I'm telling you now is not 100%, because this is in US law has not been verified, but in Chinese law, there was a precedent that if you write enough prompts, the product of the work becomes yours. You have to show that you worked on it. So to do that, you can actually go and access all the things that you've worked before. You can access them on a certain thing. You can access them. Where did I show this? Wait a second, not here. Here. I think I lost it. Here we go. You see those? Those are things that I've done in the past. Those are things in the memory. Those are stored in a directory called .gemini, .antigravity. So .gemini, anti-gravity, brain. And everything that you talk to the machine is stored there. So this will be the records that to show that you developed it. It may not seem important to you now, but you ever get to the point that you have to prove that you wrote the code with the assistance of an AI agent and it ever goes to someone's scrutiny, then this is how you prove it. And this is the important stuff. I'm done showing the important stuff that I want to show. Anyone else wants to show anything?
I had the Pi agent to.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen and it's time for you to share yours.
Let me see if I.
What's the name of the tool?
Pi, like a window entire screen I would share.
Okay, show us.
There you go. Wait a second. Hopefully it will work. Yeah. Do you see my screen? I guess so. No?
Yeah.
Okay. So I wrote here something very quickly to. This is not valid. Actually Markdown, but it's my panicking way to write this because I didn't know that I was going to present anything. So I made this is okay. So why Pi agent? So the other day I guess everybody saw by now this presentation by Andrei Karpathy. This guy cannot shut up about agents and all that, and he's like the authority apparently in byte coding and all that. And he said something very interesting. You can outsource your thinking, but you cannot outsource your understanding. And that is really very profound. So the models are thinking that we externalize. I see them as tools external to us. Like if you want to, I don't know, plow a field and then you get into a big machine and you, before we were like in the weeds ourselves with like a little, with our hands. And now we have a huge machine that can plow like a, you know, an hectare of thinking at once, but it's kind of a machine. You still have to point it in some direction, and but it's still thinking. So that means that if you rely on one provider, what I'm thinking about is, if you believe that you are outsourcing your thinking, then if you rely on one provider, you basically you're a serf of that provider, right? If Claude tomorrow says, okay, you have to pay now 10 times what you're paying, then you have no choice but to pay them, or you are in a year, nobody will remember how to make something which takes a long time. So I feel that we're repeating a little bit the open source history here with the AI models. They're very important. Like with Microsoft in the beginning of the operating system, everybody used Microsoft operating system, proprietary and all that, and got locked into that, and then Linux came. So of course we're not exactly in the same path because there are many open source models, but I feel that people are not using them. And so here we come. So here we have a tool. I know you can use this, but here we have a tool explicitly with the purpose of being yours, being minimalistic, and be friendly to every model. So let's see how this thing looks like. So I just created a little folder in my computer here. I put 2 images just to. Here I have it open too, but this is to ask questions. If I want to ask a question, and I'm showing here my settings. So what models is very minimalistic. Let me hide this thing. Settings, and you see, just tell me what models I have. So let's kick this thing. By the way, it's a command line tool, although some people are developing. It's very extensible, so some people develop front ends to that. I can show you one extension that has a sort of front end later, but let's not go into that. It's a very extensible console terminal program right now. And so this is how we start. And right now, if you see, for example, I can see my models. I have a ton of models because that's the point. These are the models that I have scoped, it says. So from right now, I have several providers. I have OpenRouter. I have Ollama, which Ollama has very interesting features because.
Are you running these on your own Ollama, or it says Ollama Cloud?
so right now is there this plugin that I'm using for connected to Olama is going straight to the cloud. So
Yeah,
no,
it's not your model. It's
No.
someone else is posting it.
yeah, but there is another plugin that connects to the Pi in your to the Olama in your local. So it's really
Yeah,
simple.
that'd be pretty cool if you were running some of these big models on your some local hardware.
Yeah, but this computer that I'm using right here doesn't have the memory for running anything serious, right? So I have another Mac where I run bigger models, but it's not this one that I'm running. So in this Mac, because I want to be mobile and I want to use the big models from Olama, I'm using directly. I will show you the extension that I'm using to connect directly to Olama, and you can use the big Timmy model that all the big models that are pretty good. So anyway, right now you can see here in the footer, let's say in the footer of this, you can see that I have pre-selected Kimi K 2.6, that I have medium as a reasoning level, and my context is at 0 of the total context window, which for this model is 262K. But if I go, for example, if I go to scope models, these are the models that I already pre-selected to be, because I have a ton of model available in OpenRouter, mostly, and in Olama. So it's kind of, there's too many options, right? So you can scope a little bit the selection. But if I wanted to, I can go to model, and if you see that if you tab, it's a tab to scope. And so if I tab, I hit tab right now, and now I have the full list of all the models that I have, which is too many for me to check. So right now I'm just using Kimi mostly. I use DeepSeek, the new version. There is a Flash one, which is faster, and the DeepSeek Pro, which is having 1 million contacts. And actually, let's select the DeepSeek. Okay, let's see what. So here we have the DeepSeek Pro. The big one with the biggest open source. I would say it's the most capable open source model right now. So let's do the typical. There is this famous test.
What is it again? Can you say the words? It's too small of a font to read.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I'm not used to. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, but what's the name of the model?
DeepSeek. DeepSeek is.
I'm using DeepSeek, the Chinese one. Got it.
The Chinese. Can you see better now, or is it?
Yeah. Good. Thank you.
Okay. So I just what I'm doing here is just selecting like in cloud code. I went to model. I don't know if you guys could see that, and I scroll down here and I enter into DeepSeek 2 Pro. So now the model changed. I don't know if you can see here, and so now I have DeepSeek Pro. This one has no vision, but it has. So let's do a test that people like to do. I would say, give me a canvas in an HTML single file. Give me a canvas. Rendering of a pelican riding a bike. This is a famous test that people, now the models are getting better at doing that, but let's see what this can do. Did I write this primitive? Yeah. What the model
those things are resistant to spell checks, to spelling errors. I don't know why.
But they understand anyway. The model is smart enough to,
Yeah.
So let's see. This is Vive something, no? So let's see what the model does. So by default, Pi has very little tools. This is the key thing about Pi agent. It only has read, write, and I think execute bash, something like that. It can read a file, it's its own tool. It can write to a file, it's its own tool, and it can execute bash, and then one else that I don't remember right now, but it's very minimalistic, so it doesn't do a ton of things. But it turns out that executing bash, you can do everything, right? So this is the beauty of and the genius of the guys who started Unix, which is The Unix with Unix and little tools composed over one after the other, you can do pretty much everything, right? And so let's see what this thing made here. It just wrote Pelican Bike thing. I would say rename it to. I'm saying just to rename the file. Let's see if it does it. If it doesn't, and how it does it. And so you see no hidden output here. So you see absolutely everything. You can Control O and expand when there is a big output, which we don't have now. But if there were a big output, the text box would be collapsed, but you can see everything. Like in Claude, sometimes you cannot see very well what the model is doing. Here so it's, well, he believes he's Claude, you see? He kind of DeepSeek believes he's himself Claude, yeah?
Nice. Sorry to cut you short in that I probably yapped the most, but I think we're going to call it at 9 o'clock in 5 minutes.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
Something very important to tell about this?
Well, let's see what this thing can show quickly.
Yeah, let's let him finish.
Let's show us.
Oh, I've never heard of a Pelican on a bicycle test. This is a new test for me.
And let me just show you quickly. Can I have like 1 more minute just to show you?
Yeah.
It's a shame because there were a few interesting things. So, for example, you can actually do programmatic thing. I encourage you to let's exit here. I Control D, and let me just paste this thing, and I'm also going to execute this. Let's say independent of the agent. So it would be like let's say non-interactive mode, and it would just go. I just selected totally different model right now. I put an image. I'd say, okay, look at this image, and say what is here, and let's see if this works. So it's going to connect. So this is the beauty of Pi. It's meant to be. You can compose it as you want. You can one Pi agent can talk to other Pi agent by TMUX if you use TMUX. And so it's telling you what do you see, and I haven't shown you the image, but it's just a baby stuff with some plush thing I use sometimes to test model for vision because it has some labels and all that, right? And so you can see that the model, and this is a Qwen model, not too big, the 27 billion, and it's kind of like got pretty well it can extract this, it can see very well what is going on. And the other thing cool about Pi, well, there are many cool things about Pi, but you can throw okay, this SIG is not a vision model, so I just, let me just take Kimi, for example, which is a vision model, and let's say that I want to make a screenshot here. So just, let me make a screenshot of this part of my screen. You guys can see this, right? So it may seem, sorry for my disorganized way to approach this, but if we had a little bit more time, you will see
you're good.
That is really interesting, and you will see that this thing can. And again, this is an open source model. This is the incredible thing. I mean, provided that you had like the $50,000 that it takes an NVIDIA cluster, you could run this thing yourself, you know. But there is much more competition, and they are very capable. And with DeepSeek, you have 1 million context windows right now, cheaper than anything that you can. And one important thing is Llama. Also, they promise in their conditional service they are not going to look into anything. They don't log anything. They don't. So they offer some privacy guarantee. I know it's Facebook. I know you cannot trust them, but you know, if you don't have a machine capable of running locally. This is the second best alternative, I would say, running in and then not this.
You can probably, if you have a big enough machine, you can probably choose the GPT OSS, which is 120 billion parameters, which is one of the bigger models that is open there.
Yeah, but by now I think any Gemma model is probably better, even a smaller one.
Gemma 4 you can run locally on.
Okay, guys, let's do this argument next time.
Yeah. I'm just saying you got the 60-second wrap up. Sorry to cut you off. I know.
No
I'm
problem. no
talking
problem.
so much.
So the guy who made this thing is called Mario Segner. I really encourage you guys to go to his.
Where's
his
the website? Where do we download it? Show us.
Pi.dev is here. I don't know if you.
Pi.dev.
Pi.dev, and it's a beautifully made website. The guy explained very well. There is a video of him presenting this thing. The guy is, I would say, is very inspirational for me at least. It's
Okay.
old school. So yeah.
Okay.
So,
We want to thank everyone for showing stuff. So please thank us.
Yes. Thank you all. Thank you, Alfredo. Yeah, right.
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I will myself here, I guess.
But we're gonna close that off for the Austin Python meetup.
I'm
speaking-
closing the recording.
Close the recording. Feel free to mingle here. I'll be here. I'm gonna talk questions wise. Feel